Peace to the family. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Here with energy reading. I'm not going to title these daily energy readings due to the fact that I'm not going to put that on myself, and I'm not going to hold y'all for these lives. I'll usually schedule these at a particular time and just go right into the information. So energy readings, what we're planning to do is look at some astrological aspects and just discuss them real quick. I value you guys' time, so I'm not going to be on this live long. I'm just going to really try to hit these points point for point. Hopefully you can garner some information from this and we could kind of move on. Just kind of letting people know about the actual transits throughout the day, because these things are valid. These things really help us in understanding the energy and understanding how we're able to deal with this. Peace to Honcho, peace Jazz, peace to the Set fam, peace to Mama Mystic, peace to the Mystic brothers. You understand? We out here doing it for the culture. So we're just gonna jump straight into these transits and talk about it. So the first transit that we're going to talk about is a very special transit, something that won't happen until 2032, happening presently as we speak. So from 7:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1:04 Eastern Standard Time p.m., the sun is going to be transiting Mercury and so forth. That Mercury is going to actually be in front of the sun. And so if you have a pair of binoculars or telescopes right now, you could peer at the sun and you'll see a little black dot. That's Mercury, the hidden planet, transiting across the sun. Now, this happens very rarely. Like I said, the next time that this happens is going to be in 2032. So what we have is an actual portal, an actual gateway, and this is kind of one of the reasons that I got on this live, to bring people awareness to this energy live in the present, and hopefully you can feel it. You know, hopefully you're out and about dealing with this energy. I know today I have this thing with pennies where I find them and I mention to myself, you know, I'm abundant. It affirms my abundance. That happened this morning. I knew that I was going to find a penny, and sure enough, I found a penny. And then, you know, I met an old friend at the grocery store. So very serendipitous day, very interesting day so far. You understand? Very much of kindred spirits, twin souls. So the things that happen in between 7:34 and 1:02 Eastern Standard Time is actually a gateway, kind of appearing into the future, what should be, and as you should move forward. So a lot of this conversation is based upon moving forward, paying attention to particular things. Now, the things that we pay attention to should be completely defined by us. So our spiritual motifs, our spiritual modalities, how we deal with the world, how we process stuff, it should be completely understood based upon our intelligence. So Mercury represents, and the sun represents, some form of human intellectualism, or one could be defined as consciousness. Consciousness is then translated to awareness. So we get the conversation of paying attention. The totem for this actual transit, if you look up the Sabian symbol of 24 degrees Libra, you will get the reference of a butterfly with a third wing. Okay, so that is a mutational response to the actual elemental forces of the energetic downpour of energy. So the downpour of energy brings about a mutation. Sounds great, but if you're programmed to the same old programs, you're not open to the mutation, you're not open to the new energies, and maybe your spiritual wanting is something extravagant and to the next level. But this is very practical, very reasonable, very much of finding a penny. the affirmations that one holds about their spiritual development, the understanding that you are God. So in the space of you being God, it begins to be creating a mythology, creating a mythos, creating a story, creating a legacy. And you can't do that in the fantasy world or the imaginative world. You can do that in the practical world, in the mundane world. So really utilizing the mundane world to be kind of like a spiritual mirror, because today is 11/11. If you deal with the actual calendar, you're dealing with the 9/11 frequency as well. So 11/11, 9/11, all both powerful frequencies to really transition a portal. So understanding the portal, the time, space, frequency, sometimes with energy, right? It's like a rainstorm, right? We referenced this, me and Hancho referenced this in our last weekly chat. A rainstorm isn't something that happens forever, but it's something that happens. Now, there's particular benefits from the rainstorm if you have like your bowls out, right? You have your bowls and you collect the rainwater. That begins to be something that represents a portal, because it's not going to always rain and you're not going to always be able to collect that water. So if you're able to collect this energy, it'll sustain you moving forward. And so as we deal with moving forward, we'll actually deal with our next placement or our next astrological transit, which we have Mars entering Libra in the first decan, and we also have Jupiter entering Sagittarius in the first decan. And this presents a sextile. A sextile represents effort. So in your chart, this is a favorable placement, but it may require some effort required from you. So if we look at the Sabian symbols of both of these planets, it equates to the concept of perpetuation, as Jupiter is planning its ascent through Sagittarius and Mars is planning its ascent through Libra. Mars is not in a favorable place because Libra has to do some reconciling. It has to develop a level of lightheartedness because Mars is so serious, aggressive, the planet of war, the planet of action, the planet of conflict. And so Libra is all for that. You know, it's like literally walking into the boxing ring, and the mentality that you have. Now, there's two mentalities when you walk into a boxing ring. There's the Mike Tyson that walks into the boxing ring ready to kick some ass, right? And then it's the guy that Mike Tyson's about to fight. You know, we grew up in the 90s. We know exactly the intimidation that he walked into the ring with. So moving into this period, are you Mike Tyson with it, or are you the one dude that Mike Tyson went against? You know, and then there's particular Mike Tysons that we have to face. Are you Evander Holyfield with it? You understand? You know, it's really a competition, not with other people, but it begins to be a competition with yourself. And what are you going to perpetuate moving forward? Now, conflict brings out the best of us. Debates and, you know, iron sharpens iron, all of these particular things. So when in choosing relationships, because Mars in the third decan of Virgo is very much of a relationship understanding, having the particular grouping that I need, the type of soldiers that I need to win this war, right? And so if you go into this transit without even thinking of your teammates, without even thinking about your relationships, then you're going into the war with no soldiers, and then you're kind of not able to say, like, you know, I'm sad today, or I'm going through something today. You might have friends that expect you to be a certain type of way, and so this is the detriment. This is some things that you're going to have to get over, having to fight. Another part of this is being able to pull back into particular energies and understand the process of manifestation. It starts with what you say now, right? If we're dealing with portals are like you know, the Secret Garden, Jack and the Beanstalk, these types of things where you plant this seed is gonna manifest a little different based upon the energetic portals and the things that's happening. And then the new moon vibe, even though it's a full moon, it's also a new moon vibe, right? Because we have Mercury conjunct the sun at an exact conjunction, and it's a special moment. So even though we're dealing with the full moon of realizations and illuminations, we're still dealing with a new moon, a time to set intentions, a time to set that magic beam. Okay, that magic beam, and how else does it manifest is doing different things in the realms of the financial market. Understand that the financial market, even if it ain't the financial market, maybe it's real estate, maybe it's starting a loom, but there's some collective feeling of finances coming together, establishing yourself, because otherwise you're just like, a finger when we need to be a fist, right? We need to be a fist. We need to fight. So not necessarily fight each other, but not necessarily fighting a particular enemy, but fighting those inner demons that say, oh, I need to do it by myself. I can't reach out to people, but fighting that shit and figuring out a way to at least come across as pure and as integral and as virtuistic as possible as we move forward. So we got perpetuation, and then we also have Saturn. What is this? Saturn sextile Neptune. So we got a double sextile. And so the reason why I chose these aspects is because these aspects are actually applying at 0 degree, meaning that these are exact aspects. These are exact things that are happening. They're not like in a particular orb. And when I reference orb, that reference a point in time where certain aspects are 7 to 10 degrees off, 3 to 5 degrees off. No, these are exact aspects. And so in this, we can deal with this energy presently. So another aspect that I want to talk about is the relationship between Saturn, Pluto, and the idea of being able to go back. Now, the establishment and the entertainment industry, the government, they know for an absolute fact that you have the ability to pull back on your ancestors for support. Now, the idea is to really pull on those ancestors for support and know the ancestors that you're pulling on. Are you pulling on the de facto ancestors that they're telling you to, or are you pulling on your close personal family members, those who have a direct incentive for your success, because your success brings up the family, it brings up the lineage. Certain government programmed ancestors only supports the things that they've already put in place, and your energy and tied in what they've cultivated or formulate, it doesn't help you, it only helps them. Oh, such and such made millions of dollars this week. That's great. How much did they cut you? Nothing. Okay, now get back to your own shit, get back to your own family, start investing in that and their stories, and from there you're able to really move forward. Now this is a spiritual truth space. Every time I talk about Neptune in this third decan, it's very interesting when you kind of talk about things and you see things online. It's a lot of revealing. I don't know if y'all pay attention to Tonio Moore and Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed put out like a fire video last night, just destroying the ADOS thing, and I'm just sitting there like, wow. And I'm doing research at the same time, but I'm listening. I'm just like, wow, this is eye-opening, So if you're interested in the ADOS thing, you definitely got to check out that Tariq Nasheed video, because he single-handedly destroyed the ADOS movement in one video, and it was just like amazing to see. But I feel as though as this energy is that exact aspect, as it begins to separate, we're going to see this energy more, and then it's going to kind of resolve into what's necessary. So the conflicts that are happening in the world, especially if they don't have nothing to do with you, don't choose a side, but definitely see how these things are going to manifest and play out. And don't choose a side. Like, don't choose a side one way or the other. Just see what's real and what's fake. Because the idea is that this illumination of this full moon is revealing some things. So allow things to reveal themselves by not choosing a side. All right. And so finally we have, well, as far as the aspects is concerned, we have the moon transiting Uranus. Uranus being in the first decan of Aries, the moon transiting the second decan of Aries presently. And the energy that we're dealing with is the energy of enthusiasm. Okay? Enthusiasm was the first esoteric word that I broke down and understood, and I just thought I was deep, probably like 14 years old. Enthusiasm means God within, so I'm gonna always be enthusiastic because that represents that God is within me. That was like the first thing that I ever really gravitated to as an esoteric idea, and it's interesting going back to move forward, right? Being able to understand and identify and doing the investigation with the particular transits of the second decan of Aries, which represents a level of enthusiasm. Before we progress through any astrological journey, any spiritual quest, one has to realize first and foremost that God is within them. One has to realize that they are protected first and foremost. It takes a lot of risk and trial and error to realize that you're invincible. You might not realize you're invincible if you've been living with a particular set of fear, not taking risks, not being able to say, I love you, not being able to grab hold of that what you really truly desire and what you truly really need in life. And without that foundational understanding that God is within you, there's nothing that I can do, nothing your mama can do, nothing nobody can do for you until you make up this understanding within yourself. And so peace to Waller, man. I really appreciate the donation. Peace to Honcho. I be watching these lives and people, I'm not doing this live for super chats, don't get me wrong, but it's certain super chats. I know y'all be watching the super chats and they be like dropping big bucks, and I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. Maybe one day I would deliver content that stimulates you in that fashion, but until then I'll continue to work and provide valuable content that you could actually apply daily. And if not daily, at least weekly. If not weekly, at least monthly. And if not monthly, at least yearly. You can pull something from this channel, because it's not my personal opinion. It's research and understanding the esoterics and metaphysics of astrology. Okay. And so moving forward and finishing up, because I said I would not hold y'all long, we dealing with the card of the day. Yes, it's back, ladies and gentlemen. And we're referencing the second decan of Aries. The card that controls that area is the Three of Wands. Now, if the First of Wands presents a problem, the Two of Wands presents an action plan, the Three of Wands is the solution. So inevitably we have a problem, a spiritual problem, right? Let's just go into meditation real quick. Let's just go into our deep recesses of our mind. The thing that we know is a problem. Maybe we're not strong enough to address it. Maybe we're not built for that yet to really conquer that problem. But the first step to solving a problem is identifying a problem and accepting it as a problem, because from there you have to now develop an action plan. You have to develop a solution. See, if we don't understand that there's a problem, if we don't understand that there's a lack of spiritual understanding that we all suffer from, right? Because it's an institutionalized problem. But we might get our success from the institution, and it's a long story in that direction. But let's bring it back. A problem, right? Understanding that there's a problem in your spiritual understanding. If there's no problem at all, maybe you got a perfect life right now. Everything's perfect, but there's still more to learn in our spiritual knowledge. Okay, that's the first problem that the Ace of Wands presents. The next thing is now creating an action plan. I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to begin to meditate. I'm going to begin to journal. I'm going to begin to practice just a sleep meditation. I'm going to do something. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to do something to gather spiritual knowledge and spiritual understanding, and I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to follow my hunches. If I'm going to pull from the energy, I'm going to fast. I'm going to do something to get this spiritual knowledge. And then we move into the level of character, integrity, clarity, moving forward, virtue, being perfect in your understanding that I'm not perfect, but my pursuit of spiritual knowledge is perfect. There is nothing wrong. Nobody can fault you for wanting to know why the fuck you are on this planet, okay? That's the problem. We don't know why we're here. We can take other people's words for it, but that might be their reason. Our individual reason leads to our transformation. Our transformation leads to our virtue and our character. And this is what we're talking about. Once we feel we've awakened, once we feel we've reached the butterfly phase, then our troubles are easier. Our problems are solved, okay? So that begins to deal with the level of paying attention, right? So what are you paying attention to? Are you paying attention to your fear, your doubts, your insecurities? Are you paying attention to the business that you started up with your friends? And are your friends needing support? Are your friends needing upliftment? Do your ass need an upliftment? Is there a goal? If there's no goal presently, then that's the problem. One needs to develop a goal, okay? And so peace out to the set family. Please click the links in the description to join the set for those monthly updates. This Wednesday, me and Hancho going to be back with the weekly astrology chat. This Wednesday, Shireen's going to drop another weekly guide, and you might want to know what weekly guide she's going to get. Maybe you want a free sample. Join the set right now. Just click the link right now, put in your email, and you'll be updated, and we'll communicate through that. Because the realer I get, family, the realer I get, the more they're going to kick me off of YouTube. And maybe you might want to know what's up with the Hood Mystic. I ain't seen him in a while. You don't, I don't want you to ask those questions. So join the set, click that email, join us for readings. Be sure to click the links in the description. Hoodmystic.com. Buy a hat, buy a shirt. It's wintertime. We got the hoodies, we got the scullies, all of that. And it's not just the like a logo that you might be wearing that's like, oh, that's hard, I like that design. It's above and beyond that. It's more than enough people that I've seen rocking this logo or this gear on planes, taking trips, counting big checks, getting their money in order. I wear this every day, and I'm charging it with the energy of prosperity. And it's all in the symbology. It's not nothing that I made up. It's all through the channel of, spiritual development. And as cash develops, as, everything develops, the manifestations are in order. So I'm just trying to give you more firepower to help your prosperity out. So be sure to click the links, ColumbianExchange.com. Daily energy readings. I'm not going to say they're daily, but they're definitely energy readings. When the energy needs to be spoken to, be sure I'm going to be here to develop it and speak to it. And like I said, I value your time. I value your energy. So I'm not going to stay on here long. I just want to thank you guys for rocking with me for this past 20 minutes. And beyond that, be sure to email me any questions about the book, How to Read Natal Charts Easily and Effectively. I know you probably got questions. I know you probably put it down, focused on something. But if forever you pick it up and you have a question, hey, Hood Mystic, this don't make sense, email me and we can make sense. I'll call you and we can talk. You can have the book and we can go back and forth until it makes sense, because it's not about me, it's about you and understanding these archonic influences so you can rise above it. You know what I'm saying? Understand your natal chart so you can rise above it. You can't rise above some shit that you don't understand. So a lot of people will talk about astrology. Yeah, astrology is bullshit, or it's archonic influences. Yeah, you might be right, but you never until you understand something, you can't transcend it. So see you guys Wednesday at the latest, but you know how this energy goes. Maybe you see me tomorrow, maybe you see me later, but I appreciate y'all support, and I see y'all